Yeah, sure. So exorcism is, older than Christianity. It's, for as long as far back as we have human writing, we have descriptions of rituals to basically get rid of unwanted spirits. And most cultures around the world believe in some form of spirit possession. They believe that, sometimes people are not themselves. Sometimes they are, in Christianity, it would be a demon usually, but in other cultures, it might be an animal spirit, like in Japan and China, they talk about fox spirits will possess people sometimes. It could be a spirit of a dead person. It could be a jinn, if we're talking about the Middle East. And in most of those cultures, they would say sometimes you don't want that spirit to be in somebody, right? And you kick it out, right? So how do you do that? Well, most cultures have some kind of ritual or tradition for how to do that, although they can be very different. The other thing that's changed a lot is that through most of history, possession was often viewed as a disease of the body uh, rather than a disease of the mind or the spirit, which is to say, if you look at the Gospels and Jesus is casting demons out of people, a lot of times it just says it's a demon of, deafness. This person can't hear. That's the evidence that they have a demon, right? Or it's a demon of lameness. It's making it so they can't walk. Nowadays, when people who believe in demonic possession would say, no, 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 those are just kind of medical problems. Demonic possession causes you to act differently or act like a different person. So this gets depicted in pop culture, and I actually have a book called The Exorcist Effect, looking at how pop culture has kind of shaped the culture of real life exorcism. But the movie The Exorcist came out in 1973. Prior to that, there's only two Catholic exorcisms that we ever know occurred in the United States, unless we're going all the way back to like Spanish colonies in the Southwest. And then after that movie came out, everybody said, "Oh my gosh, I think I'm possessed. I think my kid's possessed. I think my dog's possessed." And they went to the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church said, "Well, we actually don't do that anymore. We don't know how to do exorcisms. It's a forgotten practice." And so, in only a few decades, the Catholic Church and really Christianity as a whole totally reversed course on this. Before they said this is an embarrassment, it makes us look superstitious. Catholics are a minority in America, so they didn't want to be associated with exorcism. And now there are a lot of Catholic priests who are exorcists, and they write books and they have podcasts about exorcism, and they're very public and vocal about it. The other thing, and this is why our book is called The Exorcist Effect, is the horror movies led to more events, which led to which led to more movies, right? So, if you were in the 70s and you wasn't in exorcism, you probably weren't going to get any help from the Catholic Church. But you know who you could get help from? Ed and Lorraine Warren, right? This was their big moment to step up and build their careers as demon busters and paranormal investigators. And now their adventures have been made into a franchise, a movie franchise, which is worth $2 billion. That's billion with a B. There was also a priest named Father Gabriel Amorth, and he said, if it weren't for The Exorcist, I could have never revived exorcism. But thanks to that movie, I can get the church to take exorcism seriously again. He formed an organization called the International Association of Exorcists, and he was portrayed by Russell Crowe in a movie called The Pope's Exorcist. And the group that he founded said, "We didn't like this movie. We thought this was Hollywood splatter. We didn't like that the founder of our organization was portrayed this way." And my thought on that is kind of, well, you live by the horror movie, you die by the horror movie, right? If you're able to build a whole organization within the Catholic Church because people saw The Exorcist and got excited about it, you can't be too angry when your own life and adventures become the basis of a Hollywood movie with Russell Crowe. So the book kind of describes this cycle between pop culture depictions of exorcism and the actual culture of exorcism as it changes side by side with horror movies.